Hello everybody, welcome to Top Sim. I am William Lebowski and welcome to another Automobilista 2 video. Right before New Year's we saw the release of the GT1 class of cars, and this has been a little bit of a long-awaited update coming from Rise Studios. Everyone has very much been excited about all of the fixes and implements and changes that they have promised to make in this update, in addition to bringing us this awesome new class of cars. Initially, I was not terribly excited about the GT1 class of car because it's not a class of car that I personally have a lot of experience with. I think it gets overshadowed a lot by the Group C car that came before it, which I really love, and which I also, another car that I also really love that overshadows this GT1 car is the current prototype series of car. They're very awesome driving experiences in sim racing. And I don't have too much experience or memory watching any GT1 racing in my lifetime. So when I saw that this was going to be released, it wasn't necessarily something that I was jumping out of my chair for. But after driving them and getting some track time with them, I can see how they fell right in line with those two other cars that I enjoy driving so much for the same exact characteristics. Hot lapping this car on my own and the practice session on Spa was amazing. I felt like I had amazing control of the car at all points of the corner, limiting both the oversteer on exit and the understeer in the center of the corner. However, when it came to racing this car, I had a vastly different experience with the same setup. All of a sudden, my car was tight in the center and entry and incredibly loose on exit. This car was just uncontrollable, so to say, to my previous comparison experience that I had in the practice modes. Since Automobilista 2's official release, this has kind of been the story for the content updates as it's gone. There's one step forward as far as the great content that's released in the GT3 or the GT1 cars, but there's often a step backwards made in the lack of fix to the core fundamental aspects of the games that are still needing to be addressed, like the bouncy nature of the car. It took a very long time for the force feedback to get to where it is now. The AI still need a lot of work. At some tracks the AI are very good, but at a lot of other tracks it seems like they haven't even been touched since they've gone back and started updating the AI. Hockenheim is an example where the AR are still just as brutal as day one release of the track, but there are other tracks such as the Nürburgring and the Nordschleife that have gotten updates for the AI along the way. This style of updating that brings two steps forward but one step back is a very frustrating experience to be as a consumer, because you're constantly left feeling like they're making changes that make good financial sense but don't necessarily improve the game at all, or at least improve the problems that are needing to be addressed. This begs the question for me, what is Automobilista 2? Because through its ups and downs, its identity has kind of changed along the way, and that has also made it a bit confusing as someone who's trying to be a consumer of the game and consumer of the product, but the use for the product seems to be changing as time goes. For a while it started out, it seemed like during pre-release that this was primarily an open-wheeled concept car kind of game, and then that shifted over into a Brazilian focus, which then shifted over into a larger European audience as it tackled the Hockenheim and Silverstone and all these other track packs that it included in the DLC premium pack, as well as adding the GT3 cars and adding the GT1 cars. But then if we look at what tracks have been updated and what tracks have received AI balances along the way, they all appear to be those South American motorsports tracks, and so it really begs the question for me, does Automobilista 2 want to be the best Brazilian motorsports simulator, or is it trying to tackle a wider, broader, more successful, more profitable, European, bigger name brand type of motorsports simulator? And the unfortunate thing is these two things are a bit mutually exclusive. You can't necessarily try to have the best European motorsports simulator, but have this weird focus and energy spent on the South American side of your development. And so going forward, continuing to add all of these European pieces of content that don't fit anywhere on the track is a very weird place to be in, and for me, and it doesn't necessarily make me want to keep coming back to Automobilista 2. Reza has always been known for their dedication and for their steadfast attitude to getting on updates and fixing their sim rather, and making the tweaks that are, requested from the force feedback to the AI along the way. But my question now is, are they focused on money or the dedication that they have to the current version of the sim? Because it seems like the things that they're doing now are things that just bring in money without really securing that fan base. They take the money of the fan base who want the Spa, who want the Silverstone, who want these big European tracks, but they don't have any other content for them aside from those tracks once you buy the game and you get into the sim. I mean, if you look at the prototypes in general, I, for the very longest time, thought that these were fantasy fake prototypes, just like the unofficial licensed versions of their open wheel formula cars, because I was completely unfamiliar with the South American prototypes, the South American style of racing, which they are very specifically honed in on up until that point in time. So is it the profitability that keeps the sim afloat, or is it the dedication that keeps the players coming back to the sim over and over again that are more important? Is it the pandemic that makes a cash grab more enticing, or is it just something that companies do with their games? Because after all, at the end of the day, they are businesses. They're not exactly here to bring the best driving experience as much as they are here to bring the best driving experience at the best price. So this begs the question, where does Automobilista 2 go? Where would I like to see this game make changes to take it from where we are now at this very confusing place to a place where I think would be a successful, enjoyable medium, or or compromise, or whatever it is, a solution to getting out of this terminal place that I believe the sim is currently in. Automobilista 2 currently already has a very wide base of cars. You can really race any kind of open-wheeled formula car that has ever existed. It's not officially licensed, but you're getting that same experience. You can have that experience. You can have a lot of tin top experiences now from the GT3 and the GT1 and the GT4 class of cars. And then there are also a lot of those South American oddball kind of cars that we're not used to seeing as traditional race fans that are a lot of fun, like the Copa trucks and the Brazilian stock car. So you have this wide group of cars, and you have a track base that is almost a wider range, varied group of tracks. And so I think the only real option you have is to go what we'll call the Assetto Corsa route. AMS1 was known for its modding and for its ability to add and remove content at your whim. And so I think if Automobilista 2 focused on that same amount of customizability with their content, they could go from this little bit of a sim with blinders on at one kind of specific goal to really opening up to experiencing a wider range of racing from all over the globe. They already have the foundation in place. If they added just a few more specific type of cars, then all of a sudden you have this sim that is now competing with Assetto Corsa instead of trying to compete with something like R Factor 2. That being said, I don't know how much of this is important until the bumpy physics are fixed, the AI on all of the tracks are improved, the multiplayer systems and the safety rating system has been in place, the customizable championships, or at least a championship system that isn't only South American tracks, is in place, and then additionally, having to license some more official content, and that is one of the struggles that we've seen from AMS2, and they've spoken about it specifically in regards to this Spa update and with its DLC model that they're going to have to go forward with because of the expensive licensing fees that these big names in motorsports they cost. I hope this wasn't a frustrating video to watch as someone who is a big fan of AMS2. This is coming from someone who is a fan of AMS2. I want good things for AMS2, but I feel as though it's in a bit of a weird place, and I feel as though it's a little bit misunderstood, and I feel as though it's a bit confused about what it wants to be itself. So I think once these problems are sorted through, once the soul searching has been done, we're going to be left with an amazing sim, but I fear that if it takes too long to get there, it'll scare away the main player base, the large player base that it could attract. So I am someone who wants good things for AMS2. I hope this was a a positive, constructive way about talking about AMS2, because I have been struggling with how to talk about this game that is causing me so much frustration, but is something that I really do enjoy and want good things for in the future. But that is what I have, guys. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I am interested to hear what you guys have to say about Automobilista 2 in the comment section below. If you're interested in other videos, you can check out the tabs in the upper right of the video or in the description below. I will be linking playlists. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more, and I do appreciate, I don't know what I was going to say. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.